wake up, it's time to be free. Wake up, was blind, now I see. Wake up, it's time to be me. Wake up, my mind is the key.
Wake up, it's time to be me. Wake up, my mind is the key.
So welcome, it's Jullien Gordon here with another episode of the Daily Jules, where I drop nuggets of wisdom to help you increase your degrees of freedom. Doesn't matter how many college degrees you have. The only degree that matters is your degree of freedom. I don't care how much money you make. The only thing that matters is how you actually make money. So speaking of degrees of freedom, we got a great question from DeAndre today saying, I'm currently going to college and would like to know how to balance entrepreneurship with my schoolwork. How to balance entrepreneurship with my schoolwork. So this is a very interesting question, right? Because you have to ask yourself, what is entrepreneurship going to teach you and what is school going to teach you? So traditional education. See, I can't even spell. Traditional education versus entrepreneurial education. So, DeAndre, this is really a question of priorities and you looking out, projecting out into the future 10 years from now and asking yourself, which one is actually going to create the most value and actually help you become most free? Traditional education, which everybody is doing, or entrepreneurial education? Which one is going to liberate you the most? And for me, the question is clear and evident. And so I lean toward entrepreneurial education. So I'm going to share with you a little bit about my journey during college, and undergrad and grad school. So first and foremost, I went to UCLA and I quickly realized after reading Miseducation of the Negro, after reading Autobiography of Malcolm X, after reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad, after reading Richest Man in Babylon, I quickly realized that traditional education in the classes that I was taking wasn't actually going to serve me in achieving the goals that I truly desired. That I was literally just regurgitating old information from old people as opposed to getting information that was going to help me create the life that I truly desired. And so, like I say, we are living in this entrepreneurial reality. And so any education, I believe, should actually be preparing anybody, whether you're a young person or an adult, to navigate this entrepreneurial reality. So I don't know what you're majoring in and what your classes are. I majored in business econ at UCLA. And so I learned some of my business acumen from that, but not really. I was doing a lot of supply and demand stuff, and I could have learned supply and demand in like 10 minutes on YouTube. I didn't need it to be my actual major, okay? So I learned laws of scarcity, which I don't believe in, but it's an economic philosophy. So the traditional education will teach you the law of scarcity, and whereas entrepreneurial mindset will teach you abundance. Okay. So traditional education is going to teach you how to get a job. Entrepreneurial education is going to teach you how to create a job for yourself and others, right? Traditional education is going to teach you how to be secure. Entrepreneurial education is going to teach you how to be successful. Okay, so you're in college. I do not want you to drop out. I want you to finish. So how do you navigate that space? So when I was at UCLA, once I recognized that these classes were not going to serve me in my long-term vision, I made a really important choice. For a long time, up until that time, literally, I had been a quote unquote straight A student, right? I had been getting good grades in high school, straight A's in high school, etc. And I made a choice that I was not, my goal at UCLA, success at UCLA was not going to be to graduate with a 4.0, summa cum laude, magna cum laude, insignificant. Like, I know the valedictorian from my high school and she's doing okay, but her GPA had no reflection over that she would be more successful than anybody else in our class, right? So traditional education focuses on the 4.0 GPA. We focus Entrepreneurial education focuses on the 4 factors of freedom, which is your personal capital, your intellectual capital, your social capital, and your financial capital. Your personal capital, how well you know yourself, your intellectual capital, which is what you know, your social capital, which is who you know and who knows you, and then your financial capital is who knows that you know what you know. Who knows that you know what you know, right? Financial capital is the intersection of your social and intellectual capital. The more people that know that I know a lot about helping you get free, right? The more people know that I have that kind of intellectual capital, the more financial capital that will come my way. Financial capital is at the happy face. It's at the middle, okay? So you want to spend, if you're in college, there are very few classes that will help you grow this, right? There are very few classes that will help you grow this. So a lot of these you will grow through extracurricular activities. So the decision that I made was that I'm actually not focused on a 4.0 GPA, and I started setting grade goals for each of my classes in the semester. Rather than my grade goals being straight A's, which is what most people say, I said, I want to get an A in this class, and this class, because I see how that is helping me over here. These other classes that are insignificant to my life, but I need to graduate, I'm happy with a B, B plus, A minus. If I get an A minus, great, but I'm happy with a B, B plus. So I graduated from UCLA with a 3.3 GPA, but my 4 factors of freedom were a lot higher. Whereas if I would have focused on a 4.0 GPA and tried to get good grades in all these classes, then this would have went up and this would have went down, okay? So that was the first decision that I had to make in college, was that I'm not here to get a 4.0 GPA. I'm here to grow my 4 factors of freedom. This is why I'm here. And so go ahead, go study till 2 a.m. and do what you got to do. That's not why I'm here. I'm actually going to grow in these businesses. So in college, I started several businesses. Okay. The first business I started was throwing parties. My friends and I, we would go rent venues. We put our refund checks together from financial aid, and we go rent a venue, and then we throw parties. Right. So that was my first business in college. My second business in college was actually similar. It was actually what the Year of Freedom and Entrepreneurial plan is today. I actually sold time management systems to students who were procrastinating, and workshops. Right? I share with them my process. I would let them know that I'd only been here 2 years, but I was already a junior. Right? And that was enough credibility for them to believe that I knew how to manage my time, which they didn't know how to do. And I sold planners, and I sold time management workshops to students in college. Okay? Then the other thing that I sold, which was easy at the time, was I had a t-shirt business, selling primarily Afrocentric t-shirts with just, you know, Garvey and Malcolm X and other people and other empowering messaging on it, because that was an easy business to start. I could get them printed for $8, sell them for $15. I would iron on Africa patches to shirts and hats and beanies. And I sold that because that was a community that I was closest to and had a relationship with. And then I made a shirt called the Black Bruins, right? Because I was at UCLA and people bought that shirt. Alumni bought it, students bought it. So these are the businesses that I started in college, and starting these businesses and learning from these businesses was more important to me than some of the classes that I had to take to graduate. So again, my focus was not to graduate college with the highest GPA possible. I don't care, and I don't even know who graduated with the highest GPA. I don't even know how they're doing in today's world, okay? What was important to me was actually growing this. So when you start to set these grade goals, then what that allows you to do is it allows you to decrease the amount of time you're spending on academics. If you're trying to get a 4.0 in every class, then everything is academics, and you're saying no to all these other enrichment activities that are actually going to help you grow over here. And so by setting these grade goals, and the grade goals not being straight A's, then that actually created space for me to actually go do these other things that were going to help cultivate me as a leader and as an entrepreneur and as a professional. Okay, so this is how I approach college. If I had to do it over again, yeah, I would have started the entrepreneurial stuff earlier. My first year, I had to break through my parents' programming around college being about getting a good job and getting a good career. That was my first year, and I was being the good kid, be good, get good grades, go to good school, and get a good job. So once I broke through that, and what broke me through that was being held up at gunpoint at the age of 18 for a car that I bought, right? For the Mercedes-Benz that I bought, a used Mercedes-Benz. That broke me out of my slumber And that moved me over here. And I knew that I needed this skill set and this type of education in order to create the life that I truly desired. And that's why I am where I am now. This is when I started finding books like Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Richest Man in Babylon, etc. And started applying that to my life. I knew after reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad that I would not have a single family home first. I never even looked on Trulia.com or anything like that for a single family home. Not yet. And so now I have 4 multifamily homes because of that book. And that education started in college. Okay. So this is how I think about it. You know, the reason I created the Freedom School was literally asking myself, what information would my daughter, Jada, what would she have to know by the age of 18 in order to create the life that she truly desired? What skills would she have to know? What knowledge would she have to have in order to guarantee her freedom by the age of 40? And basically, I'm sharing everything that I've done and that I've learned to have that experience. I encourage you to read outside of classes. I encourage you to pick a skill set that you want to master. Most college students, even though they go to college, if you ask them to lecture on whatever it is that they majored in at graduation. So let's say they majored in philosophy. If you ask them to lecture on that for 1 hour at graduation, most couldn't do it. So most college students, they've been great at passing tests, right? But the moment they hit the exit door, what happens to that information? It just disappeared, right? So most college students actually have no intellectual capital. If I were you, I would pick one skill set that you are going to master, okay? You pick one skill set that you are going to master. You should major in your passion and minor in whatever else they require you to do, okay? But choose one skill set that you want to master, one skill set that you believe is going to be valuable in the next 5 to 10 years, that you can anchor your entire career and life on, and start developing that now. The fact that you are here right now, listening to shows like this, being in masterminds like this, the fact that you are here while in college, most of us didn't have that kind of consciousness and awareness at your age. And I'm so happy and proud of you for seeing that there's something greater, that even though I have to pay $10,000 to this institution to get this piece of paper that is literally only worth 10 cents, this diploma. I have 3 degrees from great schools, 1 from UCLA and 2 masters from Stanford. And guess what? They're not on my wall in my office. I don't even know where they are. Because they are not my tickets. They are not what's going to open up doors for me. It's going to be my ability to solve problems for other people. And the greater the problems that I solve and the more people I solve problems for, the more value and wealth that will come into my life simply by giving my gift to the world. So I'm proud of you for making these kind of investments in financially and in time right now while you're in college, because you're going to be light years ahead of even where I am because you're doing those things right now. So with that, I hope that blessed you. I hope that gives you a perspective. You got to reduce the importance of the academics, right? You got to reduce the importance of grades to create space for more of this. College, you're in class for 12 to 16 hours a week. You got to use that other 20 something hours strategically. Don't fill it up with some low paying job, right? That's just going to only work enough in college to pay your bills. If you only need 8 hours to cover your cell phone bill and your car note, work that 8 hours per week and then go use the rest of that quote unquote free time. It's not really free because you're paying so much for college. Use the rest of that time to grow these things. All right. So with that, I hope that blessed you, DeAndre. So proud of you. And this is another episode of the Daily Jules. If you have a young person in college or you're even in grad school, actually speaking of grad school, when I was at Stanford, I did not do, most MBAs do a summer internship with a major Fortune 500 company. I did not do that. I spent that summer growing my company. Why? Because of this. I didn't go to business school to get a job. Most people go to business school to get a higher paying job. That's not why I was there. I was there to work on my entrepreneurial mindset. Stanford happened to be one of the more entrepreneurial business schools that are out there. That's why I chose it, but I didn't go to get a higher paying job. So I didn't do any summer internship. I focused on growing my business. And that's why I am where I am today. All right. So this is another episode of the Daily Jules. I hope this episode has blessed you. Again, if you know someone who is in college right now and doesn't like their major, can't figure out what major they want to choose, and but has dreams and desires that are more entrepreneurial, please share this with them. Yeah, let's spread this message all over the world. So with that, I want to say thank you so much, and I'll catch you on the next episode of the Daily Jules. Peace. I hope these mindsets, metaphors, and methodologies blessed you. If you desire more freedom, go to getfreenow.com to subscribe to the show on iTunes, YouTube, or Facebook, and get 4 of my best courses in the Freedom School for 100% free.